Well, where do we
David,
want to go? Where do we want to go now?
okay, well, I don't know. I get
What we're doing?
sparks of insight from watching other videos because that's when I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. You know,
Yeah,
don't
well,
have my
with
notes.
the video, I think the video you're talking about is where Pat Jack went off on Carlos about being obsessed with WTPN and whether he was associated with it. And the
Yeah,
loss, well,
but
everybody,
Pat Jack was not cool either right now, right?
yeah, no, not right at the moment. There's some stuff in the air there.
I'm
But
so confused.
but the thing with WTPN and the lawsuit, um, they are separate completely, and there are several different reasons for that. For one thing, like Richard has stated, they don't want any of the delegates connected to any groups. And
So
for
I got a
another,
question. What if
a lot of the support for the lawsuit and a lot of the support for WTPN, with Carlos trying to do all his good works, has destroyed more support for the lawsuit and for Ron Paul and for WTPN than what he has done good by going off of things that he knows nothing about. He goes off of
See, okay.
just assume that this is going on or whatever.
That statement that he just made is exactly why nobody can trust the man. I really didn't
Okay,
care about WTPN when that is entirely what you care about. You care about destroying WTPN.
but Carlos, if you want to if you want to come around, we'll accept you and we'll accept your apology if you want to come back around and change your mind. But but yeah, go. You were just saying that about Carlos, and it made me think of.
Uh,
Oh,
Carlos, WTPN is transparent. You don't
It's
think
just
it is.
question
it's
is,
not the answers.
That
It's
doesn't
not the
change.
answers he
the
In
wants.
room?
other words,
Yeah,
because you
Paul
don't
Bot.
think it's
Carlos not in the
transparent,
room.
Paul Bot
that's
is Carlos.
all about is Carlos.
Oh, Carlos. Okay. Well, real quick because this is how I thought of Ron
There
Paul. Is
isn't
I
any
kind of
dollars, Carlos. You're
okay.
totally
Stop talking
wrong
to
on that
Carlos.
one.
Stop talking to Carlos. I got a question. I thought of Lawyers for Ron Paul basically as like a Girls for Ron Paul or any kind of Facebook page or just a group. Now, say Girls for Ron Paul wants to start raising money for the delegates or for the lawsuit for the Lawyers for Ron Paul. I mean, not for Lawyers for Ron, but for Richard Gilbert. We say we want to start helping out Richard Gilbert. Now, are we going to be,
Richard doesn't.
why is that different?
Richard doesn't want any money, by the way, at all. It's not even.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. But why is what I'm saying any different? Why would that be any different? Girls for Ron Paul versus Lawyers for Ron Paul wanting to help. I mean, so if another group wants to try to help the lawsuit and wants to try to raise money for the lawsuit separately, they're going to get in trouble too by Carlos?
Well, hang on. Carlos, who is you? You're saying you are a LLC. Who is you?
If Carlos wants to talk, he can call in.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, well, yeah, but why'd you say you? You know something we don't know?
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, apparently he does.
I'm a mod, but it isn't my show. What are you talking about, guys?
Carlos is by saying you are an LLC, he's saying that either me or David is an LLC, that we're WTPN, and that's not the case because I am a volunteer with WTPN. I don't get paid any money. I have spent my own money out of my pocket to pay for helping to get our website built.
Yeah, but Carlos, by saying not yet, what you're actually saying is that all of this crap that you've been out there doing for the last 6 months is about something that didn't exist.
That's why you haven't got any answers, because there are none. There's no legitimate answers to a fictitious question.
I'm asking Carlos what would happen if Girls for Ron Paul supported, just like lawyers did exactly what Lawyers for Ron Paul was supposedly doing. What would you do then? Would we be in trouble for trying to raise money off of Gilbert?
You notice he changed his name.
Who says she's ignoring me? Hold on. Who wants to come on?
No, he's not just asking questions. He's trying to incite a conflict.
Oh,
where
let
there is
Tracy
no
come on.
conflict.
What he's been trying to say is that we're trying to take donations in the name of Ron Paul and then keep them. And we have
Okay,
never,
let Tracy come on.
ever,
Hey, Carlos,
ever
please
asked
stop.
for
Please
donations
stop
for Ron
patronizing,
Paul.
Carlos. You're
Yes,
patronizing.
to let Tracy come on. He's saying let Tracy come on just to so I can, or she just has
Tracy here?
to start broadcast. Apparently, that's what he's saying in my private chat.
I mean,
Talking Liberty is Tracy or something.
Hi, Trace.
I just say that
Look at your website.
I just want to know an answer to the girls for on Paul question.
They're talking about what they're talking about is the other half of lawyer
He doesn't have a clue. The fact is, he doesn't have a clue.
Hey, Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Tracy's gonna sing, by the way. I'm still excited about that.
But what he's talking about, is the tax side of Tools for Justice.
Yeah, well, no, he said $49.95 a month for some docs, really.
No.
Well, actually, it's only $25.
It's fuller.
And
No, he's talking about Tools for Justice.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, that's a whole different issue, and it's really, it's a moot point.
Yeah, because he's talking about paralegal services. He's not talking about the election fraud remedy side. The side of it. He's talking about legitimate business.
What if I had
paralegal
it linked to What if I had it linked to my website or had it linked to something else, and I was trying to raise money for Gilbert? What would that mean? You know, would I be trying to raise money off of it too?
It's not $49 still. It's $25.
Yeah, it's $25.
You're just talking.
And I hear what you're saying, Ann.
What I want to say
is a legitimate question. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, David. And by the way, hello. Nice to talk to you again.
Nice to see you.
Anybody that wants to charge money for service.
Daily Politics does a lot.
It's the free market. Charge money for service. I just, there's a lot of things going on in here tonight, and I've been trying to type in the chat. I don't think you realized, Dan, who I was.
No, I wasn't. I was trying not to look at the chat, but no. Well, I didn't know who you were at all. Sorry, but now I got it.
It's okay.
But go ahead and catch up with everything.
Well, it's not like me to pop into a show like this randomly. You know, I've been listening to a lot of the things that are going on, and a lot of it addressed my YouTube video that I made.
But do you hear me say that I've not? It wasn't about you at all. I was trying to. You were on the YouTube video, but I was trying to get the part with the Pat Jack stuff and the Carlos stuff, just to address the. And, you know, I had Porter on right before that, and so I was like, you know, just that's all. It had nothing to do with. I don't feel like, yeah.
No, that's a different video. That was. Let me just say right now that I know, Pat Jack didn't have any authority to say any of the things that he said that night, and may have been misinformed. And I think that's what started all this nonsense in a way. Is that he came on and we were talking, and he was answering questions, and he didn't have authority to answer those questions, and he didn't have the right answers. Maybe.
Carlos, maybe. So.
Yeah, Carlos. I mean, that was the night we were in there together. That was the night where all this stuff ended up happening.
I think Porter Davis, isn't the executive committee anymore. Maybe, kind of.
Yeah, well, there is no executive committee anymore because, if I'm mistaken, guys, please correct me. But lawyers for almost.
Hold on there. Pat Jack was never the LFRP head guy ever.
Oh, I know. I'm talking about Porter Davis.
I'm talking about what Carlos said. He went off of what Pat Jack gave, the LFRP head guy. He was not the head guy. He's never been the head guy. He was a communications expert, period.
You have to understand, Jerry, that's not the way he presented himself to us that day or any other time.
That is the problem.
Yeah, that is.
But that's what he presented himself to me as. He said, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just trying to get the message out. And he said, no, they're not talking about Pat Jack. They're talking about Porter.
Yeah, Pat Jack. Pat Jack.
Okay. No, not Porter. Porter's an amazing gentleman. He really is.
Yes, Porter is 100%
I don't know
true.
Pat Jack from so I don't even know. Okay, so y'all keep going. I don't even know.
So Pat Jack came into the Ron Paul Tribune room, and let's just get this out there for the record. He didn't come in to speak about lawyers for Ron Paul. He came in because, I forget the guy's name, put a blog out about my interview with Doug Weed and said a whole bunch of nasty things about me and Josh Tolley. And Chris Dillard and Jesse brought Pat Jack in because Pat Jack was the one who introduced them to this guy and said he was so great and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden Pat Jack said, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about lawyers for Ron Paul.
Carlos said he's went off the info given by Pat. Huh.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, hon. So
I'm just reading.
No, it's okay. And I'm gonna have to go in a sec. But Pat started going into all the stuff about lawyers for Ron Paul, and I had a ton of questions at that point. I mean, a ton. So I started asking questions, and he started giving answers, and his answers were less than optimal, in my opinion. And after that chat happened and it went on YouTube, David called with a few others. We had a conversation, and I was very pleased with our conversation, and we've maintained a very friendly relationship since then.
Yes, we have.
And you guys are amazing, and I have no problem speaking with you, and everything's great. I mean, I'll do whatever I can to help the suit itself, like I've said before. But Pat Jack started this whole thing, and then, you know, Richard Gilbert came out on the Lawyers for Ron Paul group and said, you know, Pat Jack did A, B, C, and D. We're going to stop associating with him.
So how do we feel? How do we feel about Richard Gilbert now? Cool on Richard Gilbert?
David, I know we spoke the other day. I had just come out of the hospital. I wasn't myself. I know we spoke for a little while. I know you explained to me why, and you explained here in the show tonight why he wrote the letter the way he did. I still, in my gut, don't think it's the right way to go about it. That doesn't necessarily...
It was a draft, though, apparently. Is what Jared, right? Was it a draft letter?
Yeah, you know...
No. It was an official letter. It was definitely an official letter.
Okay.
That was the official one because I was told it was a draft.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was the draft and the official. He wrote one letter.
After I spoke with you, David, I sent this cease and desist letter off to a few of my attorney friends and had them look at it and just said, can you take a look at this for me? I have a couple of them. It was 3, in fact. And I have to be honest, I want to trust you about the motives behind it and why you did it that way. But all 3 of them came back to me and said it was really unprofessional. It wasn't written the right way. He could have gotten the same backbone behind it because I gave him the backstory. I gave him how important it is and how poignant it is and everything else and how it has to read boisterous and what the purpose was. I did it all objectively. You know me well. I do that. I'm fair. And all 3 of the attorneys that I sent it to said that it was unprofessional and not the way a cease and desist should be written.
Okay.
Take it as it may. I don't know what that means for the suit. I really don't know. I hope it's successful. I hope he does a good job. I've asked to speak to him a few times now personally. He's ignored me.
Why he should have been on tonight because I want to ask him because Leslie Mills saying that it was that she still thinks it was a draft because that's what she was told. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't aim to destroy anything, though.
Well, there wasn't a follow-up to replace it, so that's why I'm assuming it was not a draft. But,
well, how do you know that for sure? You know, you weren't. We don't know. We're none of us are God. We don't know exactly till 100%.
Well, because he put the letter up, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He put up the draft.
Yeah, he put it up.
Well, the only qualm I had with the draft theory, which I got told later on in a private message, was that it was a draft, and I said, well, if it was a draft, when you posted it in the group, you should have said this is a draft, and that wasn't done, which is okay.
I thought it was okay. I say, Monica, did she threaten someone's life too? Well, she did. She shouldn't have said that.
She threatened that this person, she would follow this person the rest of their life.
And no question, guys, and I don't have a question at all that Monica acted irresponsibly, and she deserves whatever she gets, and she deserves to have a cease and desist letter put forth in front of her. And I've known her for a few years now, and I'm actually floored that she went this route, but I didn't really put it past her because of her character. But at the same time, like, there's a certain way to go about things. And does she deserve this? Yes, I believe she does. And that's why when I made my YouTube video about the letter, I made certain to say without a doubt that the lawsuit is not what I'm going after at all. It was just the manner in which this letter was written and the manner in which I was spoken to after I criticized it. So I keep trying to, I'm
The
on.
unintended consequences of that might be.
I speak with David. I spoke with Dr. K. I've spoken with a lot of people that are behind this, and I'll continue to do so. I even extended an olive branch to Bonnie, who blocked and banned me on Facebook because of all this stuff, to speak with her and have a conversation. I'm not looking to make enemies here at all. I'm for the cause. I love it. I want it to be successful. It's just little things that are not sitting well with me in my heart.
But we got to realize that what we say does deflect people. If we have, the unintended consequences of us having out loud, and stuff, it does probably maybe stop a few delegates from maybe going through with what something. I don't know. I just feel like we don't have a.
At this point, I didn't do it to stop anyone from joining the lawsuit. And I'm not trying to cause a division. God, if anyone knows me, they know all I'm trying to do is
No, I'm just saying we need to be behind it, right? We need to be behind the delegates getting the rights to be unbound, right?
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Yes.
We
Go
want
ahead,
the
Jerry, I'm
delegates
sorry.
to be unbound, you're asking? You're asking, do we want the, what was the question?
She
I'm
said we
saying
need to
I
be
want.
behind them getting unbound, and I said,
Yeah,
I totally believe we need to be getting
why
behind them.
why wouldn't we want all the delegates to be unbound?
And I know there's a question. I know Carlos knows they're unbound. Okay, I know they're unbound. Tracy knows they're unbound. David knows they're unbound. But there are a lot of delegates who do not know they are unbound.
Well, it's
And
not
it's not
just
about
that.
us.
It's not just that, Jerry. It's that the Republican National Committee believes they're bound.
Yes, they do. That's
the whole point. And
that's
the problem,
easily provable because they tried to dismiss the case on those grounds.
yes, and the problem, I mean,
The point is that whatever's going
it's in
on,
the
either
first
way,
paragraph
we're
of
not
the
being
response.
given our full rights. Okay, we're not. These people are not being treated like citizens.
Well,
Either
they're not-
way, because
yeah.
the way we're doing this.
Right.
They're not treating them like citizens of a constitutional republic. Okay, so that's the deal, and I think we should. I'm behind them and getting them just to not be terrorized, not be having stuff that they have to say, and they're going to anything. Every state has had something that's gone bad in it. It's gone wrong.
Here's an example to help people understand what we're dealing with.
But we all know that. Well, hold on, David. I just want to say that. Yeah.
He has a lot of things he needs to say, and they make sense, and he needs to be able to.
Well, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
And he will be able to. It just.
I'm a patient. I don't. You can go ahead. It's fine.
I mean,
continue.
Well, no, go ahead, David.
No, please.
I totally. It's not. I can't even remember my thought now.
What I was going to share is a story of a man who was at the 2008 convention in Minneapolis. All right.
Oh wait, now I remember my thought. Can I say it?
Go ahead. No, please. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we don't. I want to hear your examples and everything too. But we. What happened to all of us? Ron Paul people that have seen corruption going on for 8 years, and we know how we all have stories individually of corruption. I saw the Texas convention. Everyone has these. We've seen the how they treated Ron since 1988. But so I'm right where with you. But the more stories, the better. But we all have.
It's just a matter of how were the delegates treated in 2008 at the national.
And how are they treated okay.
This is something the American people need to understand. Yeah, there's a delegate from 2008 from the state of Maine. He was the only Ron Paul delegate from the state of Maine at the convention. Okay?
You sure?
Yes. And he tells his story, all right, and essentially says this. It was the closest thing to communist China that he thinks he could have ever experienced.
Yeah.
In other words, he
I feel
went to
like
the
Ron Paul
convention.
people know this.
He had, yeah, well, I think many do, but many don't. And the point is that that kind of a treatment is unconscionable in this country. It's not,
Yes.
it's not
And we
even
knew
something
that.
that should be. But the point is that without this lawsuit, it is going to happen again, except it's going to be worse.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, why were Ron Paul supporters mainly, why were they aware of this and wanting to do stuff like this? And now all of a sudden we do have half of them, you're saying, don't see it. I feel like they do see it. They're just scared they think that there's something else going on besides that.
I think what you're saying, I think that there is something else going on. And I think you're absolutely right. The problem is we don't know what it is.
I think we do.
Well, we
in a way
we know what it is. We might know what it is. We have a perception of what it is, but we don't know what it is.
I think it's covert action
when you see Ron Paul's son being interviewed by Sean Hannity, and
I know. Don't go over it.
No. Just the point is the tone of his endorsement is less than enthusiastic. You know that there's something going on that isn't being said, and we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. And
but I feel like I'm pretty darn sure that it's Benton and other people that have pushed themselves into the campaign over the years, and that's what we got going on in Massachusetts and everything. He's been making trips there every other weekend.
No, you don't know what it is. In other words, that can be a piece of it, right? That could be a piece, but that may not be the whole story. And the point here is, we don't.
You're trying to tell people how things are, and I'm trying to tell them how it could have gotten that way. Just an analogy that could have been. Yeah. It is a very workable analogy, by the way. Things are
agreed. Out. Totally agreed.
I agree with that too.
The only thing I'm trying to say is that we're going to be able to speculate. We're going to be able to conjecture. We're going to be able to try to figure it out.
No, let's not even do that.
The thing that we have to do is, the real question in my mind is this. Yeah, the question in my mind is, what is the revolution going to do? What is the revolution going to do? What can we do? And what are all the things that we ought to be doing?
That's what my point is. There's so much to be doing right now.
And that is really the key to the whole thing.
And everyone doesn't need to ask what they need to be doing. You should, as a libertarian, there's so much to be doing. There's so much corruption to fight. Everyone should be fighting like Richard Gilbert,
Okay, Paulbot Radio, we are out there telling them. You may not think we are, but I don't know if you...
Telling who?
Tell delegates that they're unbound. The fact of the matter is... I have been on 30 radio shows in the last 3 weeks, and any campaigns...
That's nothing, though.
Any campaigns so we don't control the campaign.
But yeah, and Paul Bot guy, I do every night for 3 hours, okay? And I got the delegates' numbers, text messages and stuff. But the thing is that I don't want to have to talk about that. I told you that women and other people work overtly, and that's how a lot of things have been won throughout history. And we're not going to give away and talk about all our secrets, but just know that there's people out there that are as passionate as you, but are doing these things behind the scenes and not telling people about it, okay? People are smart in this movement. People have always been doing stuff like on their own, and we're connecting with each delegate, but let's just shh about that, because that'll just scare Romney people even more. But don't worry, delegates are going to be on our side.
The organized pursuit is the lawsuit.
I think that like I said before, whether I have my disagreements, sorry, I just popped back. Whether I have my disagreements or my agreements with everyone, David, you have been nothing less than forthright, reaching out to me to talk. You've given me the utmost respect, and I feel I've given the same back. And that in itself speaks volumes for me. I would sincerely like to speak to Richard personally. I doubt that'll happen. but I would really like to speak with him.
You never know.
I feel like, like all this stuff needs to happen. What's happening right now kind of has to happen. The lawsuit is
he was going to come on the show. It just he'll probably come on the show later.
If there is a telephone number to call, he will be on the show.
Yeah.
But he said he won't.
On Ann's show later, she's got a number that he can call in.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, he can. That's the whole thing. He is just not a techno guy. He's very. He
didn't want to deal with chat rooms.
He's comfortable with a telephone. He's not comfortable with a computer, and that's.
I will have a conversation with him personally, one-on-one.
Well, fine. We can try to get that arranged, Tracy. We can try.
I would really appreciate it because I would love to speak with him, honestly. And I'm a professional person. I'm not like some.
I know.
So I would really love to have a conversation with him one-on-one, and once I do that, I'll be able to then address the things that I've addressed in the past without being able to speak to him one-on-one.
Okay. By the way, to respond to Paul Bot Radio's statement, we agree it is not the only answer. It is just like every other answer out there. When you're focusing on it, you focus on it. And that's what we're doing. We're focusing on
you should be
the piece that we have. But it's not the only answer. You're right. But it may.
This is why I did the show or did the video yesterday where I was just like ranting.
This way, it is the only answer that gives Ron Paul any possibility of being nominated to be president of the United States.
Right now it is, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes too. We don't know everything, like you said earlier. We don't know to speculate. So some people are kicking ass behind the scenes, and
I don't think that anybody is thinking that Ron Paul will be nominated outside of this lawsuit.
Jerry and David, can I ask your opinion really quickly, and then I have to get off the chat, and Dan, you can have your show back. What do you think if Nebraska comes out as a win this weekend? What are your thoughts about the chances increasing moving forward?
As far as getting Paul on the ballot?
Oh, well, that's absolutely possible.
Possible.
However, there is still a mathematical possibility it won't be able to happen. Okay?
Because we still have the RNC to deal with, too.
Yeah, you see, for instance, what we're assuming is that there aren't going to be more shenanigans, there aren't going to be more criminal actions to eliminate delegates from consideration in the 5 states. The RNC is not going to let 5 states go into that convention.
Well, don't say that stuff, okay? You don't know for sure.
No.
Already.
They're criminal. Okay, you got to understand something. We're talking about an organized crime ring.
And they're
we are trying to evaluate the RNC as people who keep the law.
You heard me on the law of attraction on my show. Just do not say negative stuff like that. Just please.
It's just a realistic statement. It's a statement that.
No, reality. You create your own reality. Ask quantum physicists that. It's not me. Quantum physicists know that. I know I'm just a random chick, but seriously, you create your own reality. But you might go to another reality that doesn't win. But I'm going to go to where it's a holographic. Buddy, you might want to come to my reality.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, then
let's kick some ass. Oh, you do really, David? You don't think?
I respect your space. I do.
I have faith in the revolution. Okay.
Yep. Well, I agree with you.
Go ahead.
We are the revolution. There's no question about it. I believe the revolution is just because. Okay.
I believe that miracles happen. And I've seen them happen before.
By the way, you know that was Richard Gilbert's first statement to me?
What?
It was a miracle that we met.
Oh, really?
And he has said.
That's what Porter said too.
Yeah, but the point is that we believe. In fact, the last thing he said. Well, let's put it this way: he believes that there will be a miracle in Tampa.
And he does use the word kick-ass a lot, yes.
He does? That's why I like the guy. Well, I just want to get on here and talk about kicking ass and taking names. Yep. That'd be sweet. Right, Carlos? Right. That's what I thought. Kicking ass. And I cannot wait to be arrested. Throw me to them, please. I'll be there early and throw me. I just can't wait to kick some neocon ass. I'm serious. It's about time. I've waited my whole...
I think Tracy had to go.
Well, your mic is loud.
That was nice.
My mic is loud?
I was blessed that she showed up.
Yeah, she left herself. I didn't let her
You
go.
invited her in. I invited that.
Well, yes, apparently, David, you two are just in love. No.
No, I like Tracy. She's a very smart lady. She's articulate.
Wonderful.
Cato has a good point. If you look at Romney advisors, they are most of them were behind Bush when he ran. So that's not real good.
Well, that was a good rowdy 30 minutes there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, well, you haven't heard my shows before. They're usually a little bit better.
Well, it's okay if it's my first time, I guess.
You're learning, David.
I'm learning.
We didn't let you get off on a good rant tonight yet, so.
No, Oh, her?
She's got some good rants.
Good. Well, let me just share with you what we're doing right now within the law team. The last 36 hours, we've been preparing the documents that are going to be going into the court on Thursday. The testimonies of over 200 delegates and alternates, both at the national and the state and the local level, all three, to be submitted to the judge. And the purpose of those documents is not to
is there a deadline then?
Is there a deadline?
Is there a deadline for delegates then to submit become part of it?
We essentially are not taking any more plaintiffs.
Really? Okay, well that's nice to know because I was trying to get more people.
At this point, we are not taking any more plaintiffs, and the reason is because we're going into court with the documents on Thursday. Richard will be presenting the.
You could have you on the wings maybe.
And it's not like we're not going to continue to communicate with people and have them put their testimony in the back office and have it available or send it by email. But the point is, you get to the place where you begin to move into the mode of the law, the case itself, and that's what's happening now.
Everything going.
That has been pretty much exacerbated by the RNC attorneys and in their ploy to get the case dismissed on the grounds that we don't have legal standing for election fraud. So
for asking a question.
Yeah, right. They think this is about election fraud. They're wrong. It's not about election fraud. It's about asking a question of the court. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
There.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and the next few days are going to be telling.
When the RICO suits go to the state courts, then they can protest the cheating and the backroom deals and hiding ballots and flipping votes
so we need to be ready to know how to do that, I guess.
Well, that's already in the works, I think. I don't want to speak for David and those guys because I'm not there anymore, but I can tell you this: the evidence that exists to prove those cases in all these states is
crazy.
If you guys
Brett,
know what prima facie
Brett, why are you yelling?
It is prima facie.
Why are you yelling?
Wait, who's yelling?
Brett's yelling. He's talking in caps. That's yelling. So, the fact is, yes, it is speculation to talk about the result of the lawsuit. We don't know what the result. The judge can go anyway. Brett Peterson, he just made a comment.
But the point, yelling is little big words. Okay. He's talking about I see dead people. I mean, don't listen to.
Yeah. Well, the point is that Ron Paul would be ashamed of you people. Why hasn't Ron Paul come out and said that the lawsuit is just unnecessary?
I can answer that one.
Good. Go for it.
David's too quiet. Ron Paul girl too loud. Oh, Chris. Well, let me turn my volume down there.
I think they're just talking about the volume of our set because I can't change mine, and that's all I'm talking about.
I'll turn mine down. I've said before, it's because he's been on an envelope when he has tomatoes that he's protecting from deer every day. All right, the guy is not online as much as you are. He's got other people whispering in his ear. He's 76. Okay, so just let so he's confined. He can't see what. But if you look at him, if you see the twinkle in his eye, like on the Friday when he put out that video, you saw the wink where it was like the go ahead sign. Okay, buddy, you know, Ron Paul just it's clear. But go ahead. He's not going to come out against it. He can't even. Apparently, I mean, look at his son. You know, is getting threatened. Everything's. We don't know to guess. But
well, let's talk. Let's go back and talk. And somebody told me to talk louder, so I'll talk a little louder. But let's talk about the days after the lawsuit was announced. What happened to Ron Paul? He was getting on the news. He was being interviewed by Wolf Spitzer. He was being interviewed by, who was the other one that he got in front of? Was it CNN?
He was always on there, though. They just asked him.
During that week, we saw him come back up about 20-30% in terms of his exposure. And the reason was because there was something that, I mean, he came out and talked about the lawsuit.
When Rand Paul came out, though, and said about endorsed Romney, so they probably thought that was good stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But the point, what I'm trying to say, okay, what I'm trying to say is that he could have at that point said, this is a waste of time, this is something that shouldn't be pursued, and he said exactly the opposite of that. He said, if these people have questions, they should be able to bring them to the court. And they should be able to get their case before the court, and they should. Go ahead.
He said, well, you know, we've noticed some things in each state. You know, we've wondered about some stuff. It's kind of weird, and he, you know, like we kind of wondered what's been going on and everything. So he had the question in his hand, you know, too, is what he and.
Yeah, he is.
We have wondered.
He's being diplomatic. Yep. But you know what, Ron? Here's the thing about what Ron Paul's place is.
I'm not saying he's being diplomatic. I'm saying he's saying.
No, that's one of the people said that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The point is, Ron Paul has his place to play in this revolution, and we have our place to play in this revolution. We all have a part to play, and we've got to figure out what that part is, and then we've got to play it. And everybody needs to be doing something.
WWRD, what would Ron do? What would he do in your position? If he were 76 years younger, what would he do? That's a good way to look at it.
Exactly so. And you know what? He is the general, if you will. He is the leader of the revolution. But even Washington didn't do everything.
Yeah. Well, a good leader doesn't have to do everything because he's got, You know,
in fact, what made, if there's a really great book out that Jerry knows I really promote a lot. It's a book called Tribal Leadership. I really recommend it.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Yeah. And George Washington was a tribal leader. Ron Paul is a tribal leader. And we are the tribe.
That's how I do my nonprofit, by tribal leadership.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And the point is that
you got it.
What they do is they find ways to get the people under them to do the work according to where their skills are, according to where their gifts are, according to where their capabilities are.
They don't have to even do that. They're so natural. They're naturally talented in the fact that things just happen because they just stick to their guns. They have integrity, and they don't change. They don't waver. That's what makes people come underneath you.
It's not collectivism. You know? It's realizing that there's a plurality and there's an individuality, and both have to function.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And they
he restores faith in humanity. He showed me that I was an individual, but yet he also has a bigger part of the whole, and that's something that not many people can do. And he's the one that got me through a rape and a pregnancy, and made me go through with it all, and saved my daughter's life, and saved my life, and everything. So I mean, he does this for everyone. He's the best leader in the world. I love him, and he's the only man with integrity I've ever seen consistently over 30 years, and I feel like, can't beat that.
I agree.